Whose seats are the warmest and coolest around the league? Use left or right buttons to navigate. Swipe left or right to navigate. Being an NFL head coach comes with a lot of benefits. Guaranteed long-term job security is not one of them. Training camp is still a couple months away, but pressure is already on coaches around the league to win in 2018. That brings us to the coaches who are going into the season most on proverbial hot seats, plus those who are just chilling in another year of a successful tenure. From the guys who survived last season's Black Monday to the slew of new coaches hired in 2018, here's a ranking of who's hot and who's not. Getty Images. New general manager John Dorsey has inspired optimism with his movies, but that also means respectable results must follow. If Jackson's Browns show early signs of anything close to the production that has led to a 1-31 record over his first 2 seasons, it will be unacceptable, and he won't see it through the Baker Mayfield era. Getty Images. The offensive-minded coder remains in Tampa Bay because the team hopes things eventually will work with Jameis Winston. But if a talented, improving team stays in 4th place, even in the tough NFC South, it won't cut it. Getty Images. While his brother John returns to make it to Gruden's coaching in the NFL, Jay will need to do some work to avoid dropping that number back to 1. The Eagles are ahead of everyone else in the NFC East, and the Cowboys and Giants are capable of rebounds only a season removed from the playoffs. If Washington finishes last in the division only 3 years after winning it with a Gruden, Dan Snyder might make a change. Getty Images. Joseph got a reprieve from John Elway to avoid a one-and-done. But now that the GM has upgraded the roster, the Broncos need to do more than just be competitive. They should aim for first or second in the AFC West with the Chiefs, new QB, and Raiders, new coach, undergoing big changes. Getty Images. Gase has deployed his power over Miami's personnel by letting go of players like Jay Ajayi, Jarvis Landry and Ndamukong Suh, hoping to create a better dynamic on the field and in the locker room. But that drain of talent will make it harder for Gase to prove his Dolphins are more like the 10-6 playoff team they were in 2016 than the 6-10 mess of last season. Getty Images. Team owner Steve Biscotti admits the team has pondered moving on from Harbaugh. And now with Ozzie Newsome retiring, there is no longer a Super Bowl safety net hanging under the coach. With an offense undergoing a major transition and a defense in semi-rebuilding mode, Harbaugh is caught in limbo. Getty Images. Credit the Jets for not being too quick to dismiss Bowles while general manager Mike Maccagnan overhauls the roster. But this could head to a Gus Bradley and Jacksonville situation, where the patience runs out in year 4 before a potential breakthrough. Getty Images. Jason Garrett. Cowboys. The Cowboys' inconsistency has to be getting maddening in Dallas. Watch the heat slowly rise in Big D if the Cowboys get off to a slow start. Bill O'Brien. Texans. Houston can't afford to drop further back from Jacksonville and Tennessee in a division it owned not long ago. O'Brien's year 2 work with Deshaun Watson will be key. Pete Carroll. Seahawks. Carroll turns 67 in September, and with the team going through a makeover, Seattle is getting sleepless about its near-future Super Bowl chances with Russell Wilson. Anthony Lynn. Chargers. The Chargers' electric finish to the 2017 season under Lynn suggests that, based on talent, anything less than playoffs this season will be considered a disappointment. Mike Vrabel. Titans. His seat comes with mild heat, as Mike Mularkey wasn't even safe after ending Tennessee's 9-year playoff drought. Pat Shurmur. Giants. Shurmur takes over a team that made the playoffs just 2 years ago because of defense, and it now has an improved defense. The tough part will be implementing new schemes. Steve Wilks, Cardinals. Wilks is stepping into a rebuilding season, and because everyone in Arizona recognizes that, the Cardinals will deal more patience to their rookie coach. Frank Reich, Colts. Indianapolis finally shook up the once semi-successful duo of Ryan Grigson and Chuck Pagano. The Colts now will practice patience with Chris Ballard and Reich. Matt Patricia, Lions. Now that Patricia has been pried away from the Patriots, the Lions want to give him time to fix their defense and develop a more balanced defense. Matt Nagy, Bears. Nagy, the first new coach hired in 2018, also has the coolest seat among the rookie coaches. Chicago thinks he can deliver for Mitchell Trubisky the way Doug Peterson did for Karen Wentz. Sean McDermott, Bills. After getting Buffalo to the playoffs in his first season, he is working with the rebuilding team as the follow-up. That's a tricky spot for an immediately successful coach. Ron Rivera, Panthers. Carolina hopes it is not headed for the inconsistency that cost John Fox. A shakeup in ownership is coming, making this season critical for Riverboat Ron to make the right gambles. Doug Marrone, Jaguars. There suddenly are thoughts of a Super Bowl in Saxonville, so anything less than another AFC South title would be disappointment Marrone wants to avoid. Kyle Shanahan, 49ers. The winning momentum from the end of 2017 should carry over for San Francisco after an off-season of extra work for Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo. Sean McVay, Rams. The expectations have gone from 0 to Super Bowl 53 after LA's aggressive off-season, requiring McVay to raise his own bar after a great first season. Mike Zimmer, Vikings. Zimmer continues his steady leadership and defensive scheming, but Super Bowl expectations in Minnesota have shot through the roof with Kirk Cousins. Marvin Lewis, Bengals. The lack of playoff wins has now met a lack of playoff berths, but it still seems like nothing negative on the field is capable of pushing Lewis close to the fire. John Gruden, Raiders. The Raiders spent a ton of money to convince Gruden to return, and the mutual investment suggests this will last a couple seasons before real results are demanded. Getty Images. Dan Quinn, Falcons. Quinn already has led to his team to an NFC championship and avoided a subsequent Super Bowl hangover, keeping Atlanta a strong playoff team. The key is not letting up. Mike McCarthy, Packers. McCarthy changing his coordinators to Mike Pettine and back to Joe Philbin was a needed shakeup to extend the Super Bowl window with Aaron Rodgers. Mike Tomlin, Steelers. Even with Pittsburgh's recent disappointments in the playoffs, the Steelers simply don't change coaches. Andy Reid, Chiefs. Reid is safe until he decides to retire. He just turned 60, so that's a possibility if his working with Patrick Mahomes doesn't keep up the team's playoff momentum. Sean Payton, Saints. Payton hasn't been this safe since New Orleans' Super Bowl 44 run. The Saints have gone from rebound to resurgence. Doug Peterson, Eagles. He suddenly has a nice ring to him after leading Philadelphia's quick ascent to Super Bowl 52 champion. He might just be getting started. Bill Belichick, Patriots. Retirement is on the table from here on out, but that's the only way a head coaching change would occur in New England.